Well, when I moved from Toronto to Thornhill, which is just north of Toronto, it's a nice suburban neighborhood. I decided that what I would do is be seen when I was at home. Now, I'm away a lot. I'm on the road a lot. But I decided that I would get out and get around and do some grocery shopping and go to the bank and do this and do that and join the club and all this. And that's what I've done. I've made myself get out because I was a recluse before. There's no getting around it. And I just made myself get out, and now I'm really enjoying it. And people just take it for granted. They see you all the time anyway, so it doesn't... And you find that the more you do of that, the better you get at it and the better people are about it. And I don't mind signing the odd autograph and in grocery stores and things. I just do it automatically and get on with and get the butter, you know. People have a tendency not to notice you if you dress down, and I have a tendency to dress down when I go out. I just wear jeans and sneakers and, you know, a sweatshirt or whatever. I mean, I like to look nice, but I just dress down. And you can be noticed if you want to be. Exactly right. The old heads, I mean, if there's any doubt in anybody's mind who I am, and there are people who will come up to me and say, "Are you Anne Murray?" And I say, "No, not a chance." And of course they know right away. Sometimes you have fun with people. And a lot of times people will say this, has anyone ever told you look like Anne Murray? And you have to say yes. They have. And then they walk, oh, and then they just walk away. Instead of coming right out and saying, are you? Which most times I answer, yes, I am. Has anybody ever told you? Yes, they have. Oh, it's great. Well, with children, you never know. You're really flying by the seat of your pants. It's a lot of instinct and examples of the way you've been brought up and the way your parents treated you. And I mean, everyone knows, everyone brings up kids the way they think, and the proof is in the pudding. Unfortunately, you can't see it until it's too late. You only hope that what you're doing is right. And, you know, I try to play down the show business thing with my kids. I never talk show business, and even if I do, it's no big deal. It's just another job. And we never discuss the business at home, or very, very seldom. And I hope I'm doing the right thing. But no, I don't think anyone knows that when they're bringing up children. I feel guilty about traveling so much. I feel guilty about being away from them so much. But I have to be away. This is the business. This is my business. And I keep rationalizing this because I don't like to be away either. Not only do I feel guilty about being away from them, but I'm a homebody and would prefer to be at home. Now, mind you, I've been traveling for 15 years, so it's just very, very difficult to have a family and to travel as much as I do. William's going to school now and has been for 3 years, and there's been some doubt in his mind, or at least in the kids around in his classroom. They tease him and say that I'm not his mother, and he's never made a big deal of it, but they have brought it up on several occasions, and at one point he was very upset and insisted that I take him to school to prove that I was his mother. And so I did take him to school, because ordinarily I don't. It's just to be a fuss, you know. There's so much fuss going on around, but I just prefer to have somebody else take them. So I went. Oh, my goodness, what a day that was. And, of course, they all stare and look, and that was it. I proved it. And so this year what I'm doing is I'm going more often and just show up and let them know I'm there and around. But it's not easy. There are things that I don't attend and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should do more things. I don't really know. It's just that it causes such a fuss. And I'm trying to play the whole business down. And I've sneaked into things, like my daughter's in ballet, and I'll sneak in the back and watch it from there. And it's just that it's not worth the fuss, you know. As long if they know you're there and if you show up a few times, then I think you're doing your token thing. I don't think that anybody's life is ever balanced or ever, I mean, I think it's just one big challenge. I mean, I've been around for 39 years, and when I was in college and when I was a kid, I didn't have a lot of problems. I had it pretty easy, and I suppose you could say I have it pretty easy now, but it's hard work. I work hard. I also play hard, and I'm enjoying life a lot more now. But I find with the children and trying to keep the family and all of that together is a big job. I really hesitate to even talk about money because there are times when I do feel guilty about the great sums of money that I'm paid. Not very long. The guilt doesn't last very long after I've been on the road for 2 months or something like that and have lost touch with my family and kids and everything. But you know, when I start thinking about that, and I sit down and I read letters from people who say that my music has meant everything to them, has gotten them through a car accident, they were almost dead, and has gotten them through horrible diseases and this, that, the other thing. Well, I mean, I can't take that very seriously in the sense that I can't take that as a burden and say, well, look what I've done. I mean, all I do is go in and produce the music and hope people do enjoy it. I know that there have been people with You Needed Me who have had that they say that's been a religious experience for them. And Could I Have This Dance was played at their wedding. I mean, I have story after story of people who think that my music is very important and that what I do is very important to them. And I'm not the only one. I mean, there are entertainers out there who are doing it. There's room for all of us. And I think that if people feel that way, then and they don't seem to mind paying for it, I'll take it. Well, I like to think that when I'm singing a song that someone will interpret it the way I'm interpreting it. And the only way that can happen is if they're convinced that that's the way I feel about a song. And when I was younger, I didn't interpret a song. I just sang the words to the music that I learned. But as I got a bit older and I developed relationships with my children, with my husband, and realized how important family was, that's when the interpretation started to really happen. Success means a lot of things. I guess it means being happy with what you're doing. It means I suppose there is some money involved here too, because money certainly helps being happy. You know, anybody who tells you that money doesn't help you to be happy, they're crazy, because you're comfortable. But success is the luxury of time, being able to spend time doing the work that you like to do, plus time to do the play you like to do, to spend time with your family. But success really, to me, is happiness and a feeling of well-being. I suppose I'm a star in some people's eyes. I see that there are levels of stars. There are people like Michael Jackson, like Elvis Presley, the Beatles, who are at one level. Then there are other people, I suppose Kenny Rogers would be close to there. Then, you go down. Really being a star is the number of people who are aware that you're around. I suppose that puts you on a certain level as a star. I don't even like the word. I think of Michael Jackson as a star. I think of Wayne Gretzky as a star. I think, again, it's that high visibility, recognizability factor that makes a person a star. I feel very secure in many ways. I think a lot of it has to do with family, the way I was brought up, and I still have all of that family there, all except for my dad. And it was a very closely knit family. We get together every summer. That's a certain kind of security, knowing they're there. I have a what I think is a pretty nice family of my own, and there's a definite security there. I have good friends, very few but very solid friends. I enjoy doing what I'm doing, and I do it better now. I perform better now than I ever had before, and all of those things add up to being pretty secure. I have a burning desire to get really good at golf, and I want to play tennis well. I don't want to go on the tour, but I would like to go on the golf tour. So sometime in the next 5 years, I would like to get really good at golf. And what else? I'd like to be able to play squash well. I'd like to skate more. I have a lot of goals, but they aren't business orientated. They're more, well, let me see. What I'd like to do then is get up in the morning, get the kids off to school, then play squash, then play golf all afternoon, and get home in time for the kids to come home from school and tell you about their day, and maybe have a swim with the kids or play a little ball in the backyard, and then have dinner and sit down in front of the television and maybe a movie, or even better, a hockey game, and some popcorn and some beer.